Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bobby. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Bobby Clubino. I'm Christina, and we have Kaci with us, and Courtney will be joining us shortly. Kaci is a tarot card reader who has recently kind of gone public with it, so that'll be a fun discussion. And but before we get to that, remember to follow us by hitting the subscribe button and notification bell and
Tell your friends.
share and tell your friends. And here comes Courtney. She's going to be joining us. So as she comes in, hello, Courtney. We are recording and live. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I just want to check in with everybody. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good, busy morning.
Awesome.
I, I'm doing okay. It seems, we're adjusting to the weather fluctuations and all the planet alignments, and there seems to be a lot of energy out in the atmosphere, and people just don't really know what to do with all of that. But
That's
for
true.
me, I've been really tired, just really crazy tired. I took a 2 hour nap yesterday afternoon,
I did
and
as well.
I generally just don't do that kind of stuff usually, but when I get really bombed tired, I just have to do it. So, what are all of you guys experiencing? And by the way, congratulations on coming out of the closet, Kaci and
Thank
Courtney.
you. I will say,
Yeah.
coffee calms the chaos.
Yes.
Yes,
It's a necessity of life. That's
I
correct.
need mine. I need mine.
And yeah, I've been doing pretty well. Yesterday was one of those days where it's like the whole day just went by in a blur. I didn't really notice much of anything. I couldn't possibly tell you anything I did yesterday. I
Yeah.
just,
Some days are like that.
yeah. Um, Today, this is already my second podcast today. So, and I've got one more to go plus a training today. So I will be living in front of the camera all day today. So,
You are busy, busy, busy.
hopefully I look presentable. So-
Well, you look good,
well, thank you.
What is
and
presentable?
we're just doing the best we can here,
For
really.
me,
Yeah.
it's pajamas and at least clothes on and shoes on, and we're out the door.
Hey, it works. All you guys can see is like shoulders up. So, you have no idea what else I'm doing.
Right.
My daughter recently said to me, "Mommy, why do we have to wear clothes? Animals don't."
Okay, there's a thought.
Yeah.
But then there's those
Mouth to
cute little
face.
wiener dogs they put clothes on and, or the cats with the outfits. And I'm like, oh, those poor things. They
I
hate you for
know.
that, just so you know.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, we got lots of energy fluctuations going on. This month, astrologically, is insane. And then we've got the Schumann resonance, where there's complete hours of blackout, which I don't
Really?
even know how to read, because it's supposed to be reading the energy of the earth. And when
Yeah.
there's blackouts, does that mean it went so high it can't be registered, or does that mean that the earth is just like taking a rest? I don't know what that means.
So how do you read it? Where do you get your information from? Do you have
I
a gizmo
go,
that does that?
nope, I go to their Facebook page and read what other people are reading because I don't know how to read it.
Yeah.
Nobody really seems to know why the blackouts, like why it's not
Well,
registering energy.
I get a kick out of the comments sometimes. Oh, look at this. This is why. And I'm like, I don't notice the difference of what it means, so I can't comment of why it looks chaotic or not. But if you
Right.
tell me it's chaotic, darn it all, it's chaotic, then
Well, and the thing is, we don't all experience the same thing at the same
I'll believe
time,
you.
you know? Some of us are, I mean, we could have the four of us together, and one of us will experience something, maybe the other two, three won't. Maybe two of us will and two won't. It's just, we're all different and we all resonate differently. And so I have no idea really how it works. I just know that sometimes, probably 80% of the time, it resonates with me.
I know a lady who does sound healings and stuff,
Yeah.
on a fairly large scale, and she has the Schumann resonance in some sort of for lack of a better explanation, kind of like a pipe organ type of thing, the big pipes, and then you kind of bang them and stand in front of the resonance and stuff, and it balances you to the atmosphere and to the Earth's vibration.
Yeah.
And she apparently got them like in Germany or, obviously some other country, but it's really fascinating. And yeah, it
Interesting.
makes you feel a lot better after you're done standing in it.
Wondering if maybe it just doesn't know how to read this energy.
Yeah. It might not know how to read the energy,
Oh,
whatever it is that they're using to read it.
there's a thought.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I saw Courtney had her hand up and I was going to call on her, but she jumped in. So,
I wasn't sure how it worked. I'm just getting coffee and then I'll be on camera.
okay. No problem. Get your coffee.
To calm the chaos.
Yes.
We completely understand.
Yes, we do. So yeah, the energies are crazy. There's been a lot of, man, if you
A lot
start
of stuff
reading,
going on,
oh my
just a
God.
lot. And it's all
Yeah.
heavy stuff for me. I mentioned to you that, um, my sister had been sick and all of that. And she called the ambulance on herself the other day and went to the hospital, despite the
Mhm.
fact that I wanted to take her days ago, that kind of thing. But she has cancer, and there's just a lot of stuff going on that people are seemingly trying to level up to and trying to cope with the energies and trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
And that's pretty hard to make sense of it all.
What's your
Mhm.
sister's name, Bobby?
My sister's name is Joanne.
I'm writing it down. If that's all right.
Yeah, thank you. I
Mhm.
don't know what you're doing with it, but I agree. Thank you.
I will say some prayers for her.
That's
I
very
attend
nice.
I attend Sweat Lodge monthly, so I'll make sure to send some up for you.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
So, what sweat lodges do you go to? And you're up
Um,
in northern Wisconsin?
I drive 3 hours to my Teoshpe, which is over by Oshkosh area,
Okay.
Fond du Lac area. Previous to that, I was attending down by what is it, Watertown, which is
Mm-hmm.
close to Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
The time before that, I was attending lodge in Galesville, or I'm sorry, Gaze Mills. These
Okay.
towns around here, they all have such similar names, and then I try to visualize where I'm at, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's the name of the town.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been attending that lodge since it's been 3 years since I've been in and out of the one that is over by Oshkosh. And so this last year, I really have gotten enmeshed into the ceremony with my Teoshpe.
Mm.
This last lodge was about a week ago, and you guys are right. That energy, I have never experienced a lodge like I did this last one. It actually scared me
Wow.
um, because it was an energy that you know, the best way I can explain it is and I have my spirit animal is a rabbit. When when you feel your heartbeat in your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard mine the other day. That's funny.
And so when
Yeah.
I felt that heartbeat in my throat, I was like, what's this?
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And it was scary because I've never experienced it.
Hmm.
So, is that because of
Um,
the intense heat or just the energy that was in the room?
the energy, because I could handle the heat.
Mm.
I've attended lodge. I've actually been in hotter lodges.
Mm.
This one was unnerving. Plus, we had it during the full moon. Um,
Eclipse full
there,
moon?
this last one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Eclipse full moon. Wow.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the coyotes made an appearance
very
um,
interesting.
during lodge. We were in our first round, which is the welcoming round. Um, and so, yeah, and the coyotes in my symbolism, and I don't know, Courtney, I think you've experienced this, where the coyotes are definitely the tricksters. So this
Hmm.
energy is almost like it's almost like Jumanji, where the words are starting to appear, but first they're blurry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so right now everything's blurry for us.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
I did a meditation, and well, my vision usually comes in directly, like almost right before I'm finished with a meditation. And I had an Indian man who was standing there with his two braids, and he was like watching me meditate, and then he just turned away and left the meditation. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
Checking in
that
on
was
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's healing, and I'm like, I think it's more of like a peacemaking for myself and within, my world here. It's for peace. That's how I felt about it.
Which is a form of healing too.
True, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to Google a few things, and it was like when I Googled and looked for this person, and it was exactly the one. You know how that stuff works when it finds exactly what you're looking for, and it was a Ute tribal chief who was one of the peacemakers of the United States and their tribe. So his name was Our Ray. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or seen him anywhere. I never have. And I do a lot of looking online about like the Native American stuff because our family, and I just don't know. I don't know anything about our family. But it said that that's what his job was making the peace between the United States and their tribe. So, I mean, that resonates a bit with me. I need
Yeah.
to make peace with that.
So I suspect he felt your vibration and was coming in to check on you, and you were doing everything right and carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was told he was somebody with the name Ray wanted to work with me. So then when I Googled that and found all that information, I was like, okay, that suits me. That's perfectly
Very
fine.
cool.
Perfect.
Come on in, I'll get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So, for those of you who don't know her, I just want to let everyone know that Courtney is the world's biggest cheerleader.
That's
Well,
funny.
she's definitely the Breakfast with Bobby biggest fan.
I
She,
love
Yeah.
I
yeah,
love conversation. I love, I mean, and it's bright and early in the morning usually, so I can just get my coffee, do my dishes, and listen in to whatever is resonating with the hearts.
Yeah,
so you're either
exactly.
laughing or rolling your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Mostly laughing, and I love mostly laughing. I have to say, it's mostly laughing with you.
Well, we do
That's
have
very
fun on
nice.
this show because that was the one thing that we agreed to when we started the show is that we're only going to do it as long as it's fun.
Yes, it
Right.
is fun. You guys have lots of good guests. Yeah, I've enjoyed every one of them so far.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank
And
you.
now you are one. So
And now you
Yes.
speak,
are one.
speaking of that, I understand that you guys just sort of came out of the closet and went public with your tarot stuff. And I know, Courtney, you're pretty involved in all of that, and you guys make a good yin yang team.
Yes.
So where are you, and how do you do it, and where do you go? And tell me more.
Well, I would say Casey got my feet wet. Casey is the one that was pushing behind the scenes. I'm normally a behind the scenes kind of person. I'm still breaking out of my shell a little bit, but she's I'd say my teacher, I guess, along with
It's funny
other.
you say I got your feet wet. I more or less brought an entire bucket of water and dumped it on your head and didn't give you a choice because
Yeah.
I'm the older sister.
I'm a good follower when it comes to that. I just I don't know. I guess when spirit calls, you don't have no choice but to either run or answer it. And you can only
Right.
run so
Yeah,
far before it catches up to you.
Exactly.
that's
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an older sister also, and sometimes you just follow behind because it kind of looks interesting and you kind of
Yes.
feel like you don't have anywhere else to go. So you might as well just do this and
Might as well
figure
join.
out that you like it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I got into like meditation. I slowly started meditation through Christina Bloom's free ones on her website. And then when stuff started happening, I had one time a vision, or I don't know if you call it a vision or a premonition, but I had a vision of like these two eyes and they sprout out in just the solid section. And then 2 weeks later, I won this tarot deck. You can't really see it because of my blur. If I get it close enough, you can.
Oh,
I won
yeah.
like
Okay.
Interesting.
Shamanic one.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a shamanic oracle deck, and out of nowhere, I mean, I wasn't really into buying myself cards or getting cards or doing anything like that, and then I won that, and I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe this is something you should be doing. This is your chance.
You turned your blur off. Now maybe the cars will show up.
I did. I tried to.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
It
Where
was
did
this.
you get those? I mean, where do they come from?
I won them on Michael Christopher. He's actually a medium that was on WLTKDB, and he was doing a show. I don't even remember the question I answered correctly, but I answered a question correctly, and he was like, "I'm gonna intuitively pick you a deck," and he's like, "It's this one. This is the one that I'm supposed to give to you." And then when I seen the picture on it, I was like, "Oh crap!" I was like,
I have
"I
goosebumps.
saved that 2 weeks ago," and
What
I
is
know
the name of that deck?
this one's called the Mystical Shaman Oracle Deck and Guidebook by Velodo Barone Reed Lobos. Didn't you take a class with him, Bobby?
Uh, say that again.
Alberto Volodo.
Oh, Alberto Villoldo?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
I take a lot of his classes
I,
actually.
when you said that on your podcast or whatever, I was like, no way. Like,
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I have to have that now.
a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful deck. Lots of great meaning. Casey just got the coyote the other day. I didn't know that after I did her reading, but she got the coyote in meditation, and then the coyote came out again in the cards, and I was like, well, we all know what that means. It's truth. It's truth.
Yep.
Well, so and then in addition to that, didn't the coyotes show up at your
Lodge.
at your sweat lodge, right? Oh my
Correct.
gosh. So for those people who don't know, what do the coyotes mean?
They're the trickster, the deceit, the deceit, not, I don't want to say deceitful, but it is the word deceitful when things are being played around you and you're not paying attention. And, they can be funny and fun at the same time. They can be like just goofy. Because I've had Christina's read the coyote spirit animal for some of my mom's friends. And
Oh,
it's exactly what they are, little trickster, goofy, sneaky little suckers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's
could find,
it's like they teach by what I was told was like backwards, right? So they teach through the trickery.
yes,
So it's to see truth through trickery. Like to
correct.
be able to see through the trickery to the truth.
That's a
It almost reminds me of the
Yeah.
labyrinth when the girl gets to the doors and she's got to decide which door to go in and they're messing around with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
It's
is that a
like,
trust
okay.
thing?
I
kind of,
don't kind of, but I think it's more of a be aware. There's
yeah,
trickery going on around you. Be aware. Use your
yeah,
discernment.
yeah. And then after that, she got the wild woman, which is like, don't let anybody knock you down or take your shine. So we're
Yeah.
slowly learning together.
Yep.
But yeah, these cards are just, they're honestly, I've never had a deck that is like so me and so like beautiful. Not that it's important to really show the cards, but they're just like,
Oh yeah, they are.
they're gorgeous. Like just the card alone, because Kiara, Christina has been telling me, don't use the book, don't use the book. And so sometimes I just, what do I see in this card, is what I've been trying to do instead of looking at the book and reading from the book, because it's true, energy is energy. Energy is
Mhm.
going to come to you whether read a book or read a few words or not read it at all. So
Right.
Right.
been working on that, and that's funny that the ancient ones was the card that I picked and pulled out to, and it's the number one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Well, that's us. We're the ancient ones. At least I
Yes.
feel like it.
No, we're all ancient.
Right.
Our shells are just new and improved, but we're all ancient anyway.
Right.
But
Yep.
yeah, that was one of my wildest stories. And then I guess I have another wild one if we're telling stories, if it's story time.
Go ahead.
It's
Let's have
story
story
time.
time.
Yep.
Oh, I have where I was recently, a friend's husband had passed away or was passing away. He was in the transition of life to death, and she calls me over about, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, "Hey, I need your help. I need you to help me clean the bathroom and stuff. His son is coming up and I want to make everything nice and clean." And I get over there and I'm trying to schmooze the whole environment. I'm playing music. I'm lighting incense. Her husband's on the couch like, and I'm like, "It's okay. Just breathe it in. It's fine." And the next day she calls me back and she's like, he's not doing so well and I think he's ready to transition, but I want to get him in the bed where he's going to transition from because he wants to be in front of the sliding glass doors. And so I get over there and I'm like, all right, let's do this. It was like a free flow moment of like, I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to help her do what she needs to do. And I'm going to jet out. So I get there and he's laying on the couch and I grab the feet with a blanket under him, like EMS style, because his son is at EMS. And I grab the feet, my husband grabs the head, his son grabs the middle, and we move him on over to the hospital bed that's sitting by the window, and I'm tucking him in and I'm like, have a good trip. I don't even know what I was saying in my own head. And right behind my head I hear, I'll be all right, kid. And I was like, oh, he's here. Wait, I hear him here. And I'm like, what is that? And I look at his wife and she's crying and I kind of broke down a little bit and I was like, all right, Kathy, I love you. I gotta go.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
that was my sign where I was like, okay, I guess this is what you're meant to do. This is, you're
Hmm.
just here to help, really, is how I felt. I was all she had at the time, and her son, it was just him and her and her son, and they couldn't do it alone. She's older lady. She's, no, I wouldn't say old, but she's in her 60s. So it just was like my chance to just help out and do what I could do for her. And I got a big spiritual payback through that. Hearing him behind me when I was looking
Yes,
in front of me was like, okay, that was wild. That was like my sign for sure. Like, okay, this is where I'm at.
I love
That
that.
was that was really
Either
profound. How
accept it or it's coming for you anyway.
I know I tried to run, just not fast enough.
how long ago was that?
Oh, this is probably he's been passed away
About a
maybe
year, huh?
2 years, maybe coming
Two
up.
years.
Yeah, it was a year this January. So now, yeah, I guess shortly it'll be 2 years. I mean, the years go so fast. But
Yeah.
yeah, about a year now. It was January 18th of last year that he passed away. And he
How
knew
are we this far
I
into March? Like,
I
Yeah.
no, I don't even know where February went. I didn't even do anything for Valentine's Day. I was like, we'll catch you next year.
Every day's Valentine's Day if you want it to be.
So
that's
I told
true.
my sisters that. I'm like, every day is Women's Day. Every day is Sister Day. We just gotta
Right?
love each other and celebrate each other all the time.
Exactly.
I agree.
Casey,
Exactly.
story time? Do
Hmm?
you have story time?
I don't have a story. I mean, I told you guys my most recent story with Lodge, and
Hmm.
um, w I don't want to go into too much detail about it because then it removes its sacredness.
Right,
But
right.
there was a moment during the ceremony. Um, I had to remove myself. I had enough energy standing outside. Um, but I don't know if you guys had experienced this where you're at, but it was about, I don't know what time it was, but that big, huge gust of wind that came in,
Hmm.
it was almost like we were in a funnel.
Oh,
I was inside ceremony when that gust of wind came through. So it wasn't just that moment of feeling my heartbeat, but then there was another moment after that that I was like, I wanted to run. Like you're talking about, like when spirit shows up, you either face it or you run.
mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
my rabbit tendencies was like, whoop, okay, but I didn't run. Thankfully, the people that were there um, let me know, hey, we're all seeing the same thing here.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
um, it's almost like it really is almost like, in the movie Twister where he wraps that belt around that cement pipe and they hang on tightly.
Hmm.
Um, Courtney has helped me grab a hold of that steel pipe through this
Okay.
process.
Same.
Because it's easy to say, you know what, I don't want to
I'm
do
done.
this. Right. And
Yeah.
so a lot of that's been happening more and more. And so over the last couple months, um, Courtney's like, hey, I haven't forgotten about a year ago when we were doing this stuff. Hey, I've been learning. I've been here learning. And so I'm like, all right, all right, all right. And so I'm a very metaphorical story explanations, pictures, visuals, stuff like that. Everything has some sort of meaning. But sometimes I've learned too, like sometimes there isn't a meaning.
Right.
Sometimes life just drops it, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, that's one of the part of the stories that I've experienced this last week. There's a lot of transitioning happening in my life.
Yeah.
Um, it's been more and more.
Yeah.
And not trying to fight that, and that's
Oh,
been
isn't that the
huge.
truth? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not easy to fight it, but it's such an impulse
Hmm.
to fight it, you know?
Or to fix it. We don't always have to fix it. Sometimes we got to prove like we made it through that stuff.
Well, and
Right.
Once we
maybe some of it isn't even fixable,
right.
you
That's
know?
Right.
true.
Some of it
But
isn't fixable. We just get through it. Bobby, what's your story?
I was just going to mention that lately, when I'm feeling or experiencing resistance to stuff, I'm
Mhm.
learning to ask why I'm resisting
Hmm.
and what do I have to do? What's the next step to get over that? And I try to look at my body and see where I'm tracking that in my body.
Mhm.
And of course, going through uh, shamanic practitioner school, and noticing things and whatever, tracking is a big deal. So to try to discern where it is and what it all means, I guess sometimes you get in your head too much and you overthink. And
Right.
it doesn't really matter what it is, just that it's there and trying to move it out of the way or
Hmm.
figure out what it is so that you can reckon with it and get on with it.
Mhm.
So that's what I do. But again, I'm kind of an analytical thinker and I
Yeah.
try to figure everything out. And I thank thank you for telling me that sometimes there is no meaning. And
Right.
so to sit with that for a minute and try to go with the flow of there is no meaning, just feel it out and go with whatever and move on to the next step.
Feel
Mhm.
it and
That's really
release it.
profound. That's really great.
Yeah.
My brain instantly as you were talking is like I always right now I feel like I need to refer to like when we look at chocolate mint ice cream, why is it chocolate? Why is it brown instead? Why didn't they make it green? Because green is mint, And so it's like, well, no, it's brown. That's okay. Like done. That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know what brand you're eating, but my
Mine's
chocolate mint
green.
ice cream is green.
Chocolate
Chocolate
with
chip
mint.
mint.
Chocolate
Chocolate
Oh,
chip
chip mint.
mint.
Oh, I see.
The
Gotcha.
brown stuff, I recently went to a buffet and they had like a chocolate fluff mint and it was brown. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, they really is chocolate mint fluff. Because I was like expecting it to be chocolate and Oreo.
Oh,
And I took a
gotcha.
bite and I was like, well, that's odd. But it's
it sounds odd, to be
you
honest.
know, like
I'm like, no.
Well, if you're making a fluff, I'm going to get analytical and, I'm going to bring up the
And
cooking
you're a
thing.
baker. Yes.
So,
Tell
so
us.
if you're doing a chocolate thing and it's fluff, that would be more like a pudding, more like a moussey type of thing, which would be brown. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
then you add some drops of mint, which are clear or whatever, and you just taste the mint out of that. So I just
Right.
went right to the cooking, aisle and picked out the extracts and went
Right.
with the
Yes.
I
chocolate
value
pudding.
that, Bobby. I'm just gonna call you when I'm over analyzing something, then you can play out the map for me because I need a visual as to how we got to this place and why the chocolate mint fluff is chocolate colored.
Yeah.
You need to know something, you just let me know. Let me know. I'll either make it up or come
Yes.
up with some kind of bullshit because
That's
this is
me.
pretty much
Like,
where I
give me
am.
10 seconds and I'll think of something.
Right.
Can I share a recent experience that I had with y'all?
Please.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
I was at my friend Gail's house. She has a rustic retreat center called, I don't remember the whole thing. It's Sacred Waterways, a gathering space, I think is what it's
Is she
called.
the apothecary one?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. But it is in a different part of the UP. UP. Yeah. I'm just, my
I
brain is
remember
like,
this.
wait, P or K? P or K? No, it's P,
Yeah.
UP. All right.
Me too.
Oh,
So this property, I really just want to gather you all up and take you there
Oh,
because first of all, you would love it. It's right on the bend of the Escanaba River. And so it's like just
looks beautiful.
beautiful. It's beautiful. And when she bought the place, there were two antique railroad cars, full size actual antique railroad cars on the property.
Okay.
Okay.
To
Well,
remember.
those trains are haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
remember this.
yeah, so this past weekend there were three of us on Friday and then four of us on Saturday. And Friday night we're there and I don't remember who brought it up. Somebody said something about there's a portal or a vortex in the closet of one of the cars.
Train cars.
So I'm like, I got to check this out, right? So it's dark out. And I'm like, if I open this, 160-year-old door or whatever it is, because the cars were built sometime between 1860 and 1870. And the original woodwork is still there. The original doors are still there.
Mm.
So I stepped into there, and all of a sudden, it started moving. Like the
It,
train started moving. And I'm like, okay, is it just me or is the train moving? And they're like, no, it's moving. It's rocking back and forth. We're feeling it. And then I heard a man say, all aboard. You know how they did that? The all aboard.
wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, cool. Where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that train went from Cornell, Michigan to Chicago. People got off, people got on, just like it was a normal train running down the track. And then it went to St. Louis. Same thing, pulling in. And the other two people who were in the
Oof.
train cars, okay, so they're connected, but I was in one car, they were in the other car. Okay.
Okay.
And they're like, whoa, we're coming to a stop. I can feel it like lurching and moving. And it was hard to keep your balance in there. And I mean, it was such a visceral experience. Like you
Right.
could literally feel that train starting and stopping. And that kind of toot, 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 toot,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah. That's
train is going
exactly
down
what
the
I
track.
felt.
Yeah, exactly. And then we went into New Orleans, same thing. And what I didn't realize is that was a very powerful portal. And I am apparently a powerful thinker because
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden we're going through a tunnel like
Wow.
really fast. And then I heard next stop, London.
Ugh. You were like, when I
Wow.
get out of here, I better be back in the United States.
Maybe.
Yeah, true.
But then the conductor said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Manchester." Just off the top of my head, Manchester. Okay. Leaving for Manchester, like all the announcements, gathering tickets, the whole thing. It was like watching one of those old black and white train movies, right? So
Wow.
we pull into Manchester and you heard the doors open, you heard people getting off, you heard people getting on, and all of a sudden my friend Glenn is standing next to me and he gives me this big hug and we were embraced like in this peach colored light with
Oh, wow.
sparkles in it. It was crazy. Like I've never seen a peach colored light. In all of the years that I've been dealing with working with light, never seen it peach colored.
Mm-mm.
And then we went to York, which went around a forest preserve. He got off the train in York, and then we were back to London and then back in Michigan. Like we didn't even go back through New Orleans and St. Louis and Chicago. We just went right to where we were.
Wow.
And it all felt so real
Mm-hmm.
for
Well, it
everybody.
was.
It was real. And it for everybody, not just for me, because they were like, I'm hearing British accents. Where what? You know?
Courtney was there.
So,
I
There.
probably was.
so how long were you gone? Do you?
I have no idea, no concept of time at all.
Time's not real. It doesn't
Time's not
move us.
real. I have no concept.
Clearly, I don't either, trying to get here.
um, I'm gonna say maybe a half hour.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Wow, all of that happened in about a half hour, but it probably felt like days.
It was,
Mhm.
yeah, it was an adventure for sure. And so the next
Amazing.
night we were telling somebody else about that on Saturday at the event that I was at, and she's like, I have to experience this. So she came and spent the night with us
Is
and
she?
went
Oh,
through it. And the other three then took their turns going in the closet and guiding where the train was going to go, and it worked just as well for them.
Oh my gosh, how cool is that?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I had my spirit box with me on Saturday night,
Yeah.
and I had it playing, and we could hear, like, we could hear the gentleman who was on the train. We could hear all kinds of really fun stuff. And so one of my friends goes to get into the closet, and um, she, all of a sudden, I heard on the EVP a very clear man's voice go, "Why me?"
Oh boy.
And then I mean, there's a bunch of other EVP stuff too, and I had it set on recording. So the last person got in, and she wanted to go like a straight shot really fast, right? So the train starts, and we could just feel it moving faster and faster. And I'm literally holding on to stuff because the train is moving so fast. And she goes, "All right, we're coming into the station," and it slowed down really fast. Like we all kind of lurched forward.
Hmm.
I had to catch
Wow.
somebody from running into somebody else. Like it was just a
Mm-mm.
push forward. And but before it started slowing down, shit came through really well, really clear
Mm-mm.
on the spirit box.
What you get from pushing the train guy for a double
Oh,
shift that day?
Right, exactly. But it was
that's
just
funny.
it was so visceral and so real. And then we went up to the house, and I got out my laptop and I went to put it on it. None of it recorded. The recorder was running,
Ugh.
none of it recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, we both know.
There's
We all
been
know how
nights,
that works.
Yeah.
yeah, there's been nights I've left my phone recording and I'm like, I don't think I want to listen to what's in the home. I'll just leave it there and go about my
Leave
day.
it there and go about your day. So anyway, that
Yep.
was my most recent adventure into the paranormal. So
So
That's
I'm
amazing.
curious. I'm
yeah.
curious how big the closet is in this train car.
It's about not quite 3 by 3 feet.
So you individually go in or the whole
Yeah.
train car?
We each individually went into the closet. And then the when one person was in the portal in the closet, the rest of us were passengers.
Wow.
Doing this on the train?
Well, it was like the funny thing too about the EVP thing is that I've used my spirit box. I don't know. I mean, I just got it in September, but I've used it about 20 times just playing with it, trying to figure it out and all that. And it's never made a and it did the whole time we were in the train. It was like
Wow.
it was recording or it was like, playing the
Picking up the
train
energy.
sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was playing the train sounds. Now there are no wheels on this train. The
Yeah.
wheels were taken off and it was put on cement slab.
Ugh. Imagine if there were wheels and you were on a train rail. You would have been out of there.
Wow. Yeah, we don't even know where we would have been like right off the end of it or whatever, but yeah. So, but it was an interesting experience.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So you found a portal. What's the difference between a portal and a vortex?
I don't think there is a difference.
Mm-mm.
Um, I guess a
I heard
vortex
that
spins. I don't know.
I heard that you can close a portal, but you
Hmm.
can't close a vortex. Is
Oh,
that true?
that's not true. I've closed vortexes.
Okay. Well,
I've
I knew if I
created them
said
too.
some.
Yeah.
How do you create them?
With energy and intention. I created a
Kind of
healing
like when I
vortex. Yeah, when my
had,
when my youngest one was really sick when he was little, I
Oh,
mm,
I created a healing vortex.
I don't know if
Mhm.
it was when I was living in Brandon, Christina, when I had messaged you to let you know that I was going to either open, I think it was a portal that I opened, to release the energy that was living on the property.
Yeah.
I created a grid and, of course, did the Native American tobacco pouring. I opened it, the vortex, in my understanding, it does spin and it keeps going. Even like you can, the way I understand it, you can close the door, but it's still spinning on the other side of the door. A
Interesting.
portal is to me like you open it and it's like a tunnel.
Correct.
And
That's how
once you
Okay.
close that, the whole portal shuts.
Okay.
But the vortex stays spinning even after you've closed it because you can
Interesting.
then reopen up the vortex to send things through, but you have to remember to close it because otherwise it keeps the energy still spinning. And so when I was in Brandon, I opened up a portal to allow that energy to transfer like a bridge to the next space. I remember messaging you when I was going to do it, and it was wild because one of the biggest reasons why I know it was a portal is because when I made the doorway, the sun peered through the clouds.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then when I closed it, the sun was not peering anymore.
Okay.
It was definitely it was good. It's good.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I know that I have, even in your other house, Bobby, where, you had that going on in that one room. It was spinning one way. I just spun it the other way until it went down into the earth and then sealed it down.
Go vacuum.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining the rocks that they say are portals. You can open. I'm like, I want to try that.
Well, just make sure you close it.
Yeah,
Right.
I probably
Yeah.
won't try it. It's in my mind.
Well, I hear that we open up portals all the time and don't really know it.
I
And
bet.
so the idea too is that, like Christina said, you have to make sure that you close it
Mm-hmm.
because you really don't know. It's not very discerning. It's open for whatever comes through there.
Right.
Somebody's told me I have a vortex either in my kitchen or just on my property in general, which would make sense. I'm stuck here a lot. I'm here a lot, so I feel like that could possibly, I may have created that one myself.
Okay.
Possible. Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah. Well, next time I come up there, we can take a look at that.
Yeah, and we'll have coffee. I'll have plenty of coffee.
Gotta have coffee.
Wow.
Coffee is the
Waiting
bread
for
of
that
life.
warmer weather is like, oh, dang it.
Well, I know, but we keep getting teasers,
I
like
know, I know.
a day or two that's nice, and then, oh, you need snow.
Even today, it's beautiful outside, but the snow is everywhere. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It busted my knuckles this morning trying to get the ice off my van. I
Oh,
was like,
no.
oh, that's punishment.
Oh, for what?
I don't know. I'll figure it out later. The words will start to unblur.
There you go.
I recently heard that struggle is an option, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
When you pick out that you don't want to struggle anymore.
Yeah.
And again, kind of like going with the flow and
less resistant lately.
yeah, that's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
Let
having
go or
good
be
intention.
dragged.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Let go or
I've been
be
letting
dragged.
go.
So, Kaci, would you like to tell us about your tarot adventure?
Sure. I started the tarot life probably, I think, Bobby, you and I were talking about, I think it's been like 7 years. I think the tarot and the lodge and all of that kind of came to fruition together in the same sense. Because I was starting to get into crystals too. And the lodge ceremony, I was
Crystals are
told
like
don't,
the gateway.
right. I was told don't bring your crystals into lodge. There's already enough energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they also said don't put crystals on the altar. They're all of it is
Dense.
they're different avenues to the same destination.
Right.
They're all the same tool. To use all of them at the same time would be defeating the purpose. And
Yeah.
so the tarot stuff I got involved in, I had my first deck. This is my very first deck. It's a Native American deck. The book is
Funny.
definitely in multiple different pieces from studying. I don't have the box for it anymore. That fell apart.
Is that the Rider-Waite deck?
This is not. This is a Native American.
Okay.
It's the same type of concept, yes, if that's what you're asking. It's the same type of concept. I don't even have the title of the book.
It uses like feathers instead of swords, right? Or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's it gives you pipes, if you could see dream catchers or pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, all right.
And it also has the major and the minor.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So this is my very first deck. This is the one that was drawn to me. I was taught you don't buy your first deck, you get your deck given
Man.
to you. And so or gifted. If you do buy a deck, it's important for me to understand that that deck might not stay with me. So don't get too attached to it. Because
Mhm.
I've had numerous decks over the last years where I'm like, all right, you don't belong to me anymore. You are now going to be given to XYZ,
Yeah.
because this is a shared trait. This isn't I don't have all the answers. And I am just a channel. So working with other channels, like if you think about TV, all the different channels that we have on TV,
Mm-hmm.
everybody can tune into each one. Well, I can read for someone, but I might not have all of the full story, but Courtney might be able to tap into it. Just like we were talking about, everybody is different. Everybody resonates with certain vibes. And so it's important like to share the space, to share the energy, to share the gift. So, but this is my first deck. It was given to me at my first class. And I don't know, it's funny because this is when like shortly after I received this was when I started the Red Road journey. So it's like, of course, Native American. I can't
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
deny, you can't deny spirit when you start this. Once you open that up, you
Yes.
better get a
Yeah.
5-point harness because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Uh-huh.
So that was my very first deck. I've had a couple decks in between there. The one that I really liked most recently is my unknown deck because of the colors. It's got the rainbow.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I
this
do
one was
love that one.
gifted. This one's gifted to me from my ex-husband, which, we're amicable. He's an amazing man. Very lighthearted.
Yes.
Uh, so this was the deck he had given me, so it was a gift. I also have another gifted deck. It's the Rebel deck, which is pretty. Um,
Wait, wait,
yeah, this
wait.
one's
There are
Family
some words you
favorite.
can't show on here.
yes, yes. So yes, this is the Rebel deck. I was gifted this deck.
It's a fun deck,
Um,
though. I've
Hmm.
seen
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
It
I'll
is.
have to
It's
do a
good for
live with
me.
that one. Yeah.
It's good for me to have this deck because I take things so seriously. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even as we're talking and I'm listening, Courtney and I have come to terms that we have a face that has subtitles. So, um, but yeah,
We
those are
just try to smile.
we're practicing. So those are the decks that I mainly work with. I've gotten a few that are newer. Like I just got a Nordic one.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
this one actually recently I've been working with a lot is the inner child.
Oh, that's
Oh, how
funny. Inner
Um,
fun.
child has been
Yeah.
coming up in like my own memories. Like out of nowhere. I'll just be standing there in the middle of the day and I'm like, remember when this happened to you? But that's okay. It's
yeah,
okay
and
that
that's
that happened to you.
part of
Yeah.
that is like because like Christina and I've talked about this. I think it was about 2 years ago or so. You were at a fair and we sat down and we talked about
Yeah.
those little me's.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, once you open it up, spirit is like, okay, this is what we're working on. And
Awesome.
so over the last 2 years, I've been getting more and more. And this deck just came to me about a month ago. And so that makes sense as to why, like, Courtney and I are like seriously in sync. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm doing something, I'm like, brace yourself, Courtney, here we go. Because there's gonna be some ripple, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I mean,
Usually about two
that's
days later. 2 days later, it makes its way over to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Ah, no."
I've done a lot of inner child work and hear about, maybe a year and a half ago or
Yeah, about a
so, I
year. I
was,
would say about a year at least ago. I remember you talking about it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very profound. And honestly, I check in with her every day and I check in with her on what I'm going to wear sometimes. And sometimes it's like, really? Well, okay.
You're like, oh, okay. Overalls and a little tank top. All right.
Right. What do you mean I have to wear
And
those
my
underwear?
my garden hat. Okay.
Right. Two different colored gloves? All
All
right.
right.
Whatever.
My
Yeah.
socks are never the same color except for today.
Well, look at you.
Yeah.
That's
Big girl. I'm a big girl today.
put your big girl's panties on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I love your relationship as sisters. That's really,
Yeah, it's
and I can tell
beautiful.
that the two of you nurture each other.
Oh, we
There's
do.
a story even behind that over the last 2 years. It's just been a transformation in relations with family. And her and I have the same dad. We have different moms, but the same dad. And a lot has happened over the last 2 years that um, we are we are taking care of each other in the sense that, other people are incapable of. And
Mm.
so um, Courtney says, Courtney, you always say it. You say, well, you got to move out with a little bit of that energy so you can have a whole lot of my energy, and so, and so it's true. It's
Yeah.
true, and it's not that it's just, we all have histories.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind
And
of how you're raised, and we were probably polar opposite. If you ask me, and I look back as polar opposite, I was
Hmm.
free as a dang bird,
yeah,
and you were
yeah,
maybe a little more kept reserved, or,
Yeah.
I have the mother energy, and she had the father energy, so it was more like we kind of grew up in that opposite weather. So then, and we kind of come together and bring each other the what we each need separately from each other. So it works
yeah,
out pretty well. I bring the
yeah.
fun and you bring the
Serious.
brass tacks. Brass
But yeah,
tacks. Yeah,
I,
exactly.
yeah, I would say
Absolutely.
Casey's the business mind.
Yes,
Courtney's
exactly.
the
Creative.
hypothetical, maybe
Yeah,
creative, the
But if
creative
we're
Creative.
going to
trickster a
have
little
an
bit.
event, we got to have a kids table with crayons.
yes. Paintbrushes. Uh,
See, that inner child, she's always available. You just got to
Yeah.
tap into her.
I know. I think I need to put mine in the corner sometimes.
Same girl, same here.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did
you've
get
seen
into it's
those.
funny that you say that because I got into spiritual art for a little bit. I don't know if it was spiritual art. It was just art that I felt like, okay, I want to paint right now. And man, can I paint? Found myself being a very good painter. I never knew, I
Awesome.
never thought it was something I'd be into, but yeah, I was like enjoying it. I loved every minute of it.
That's
You
awesome.
just got to let it come out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I only know one person in my family that paints. Casey might know ones on the other side of the family, but I only knew one, and she was like a great aunt. And she was just a really good painter and she loved to do it, but her husband, didn't allow her to do that kind of stuff. It was more like cook and clean and do what you need to do. So I took a good couple months there where I was like, I ain't gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do the dishes every morning. I'm gonna go paint first and then I'll come do the dishes. It was a
Well,
good switch.
you are
Huh.
nurturing your inner child quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying there.
I like
Yeah.
that. So,
So
Miss
go
Casey, you
ahead.
look like you want to say something. You're very pensive there, and you're very thoughtful.
I'm usually, I'm practicing. Christina and I were talking about it before we came on. She says, I'm sorry, I'm just busy. I said, no, we'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to say anything. And I'm really
Yeah.
practicing that because there's always so much said up here
Yeah.
that I'm really trying
Process.
to really intently and actively listen. So I always look like I'm deep in thought because I really am. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of training that I'm doing with myself. Um, when Courtney brought up the wild woman, ever since then, I'm like, man, I got to get my drum out. I need to really sit with my drum and
Yeah.
address that sadness.
Mhm.
And so that's where a lot of my thoughts are right now. Um, yeah, so it's interesting. Um,
I think unharnessing some of the stuff that you've had stuffed down for so long
Hmm.
and
yes,
let
Correct.
it out. And if
yes,
the drum helps you do that to
yeah.
Yeah. Drumming is a great way
dislodge,
to do that.
yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
thing.
And so that's where that reservation and trying to actually actively listen um without motive, that's sometimes because I always think like a discussion needs to have a certain destination. and that's not true.
Right.
Letting
Oh,
things flow as they need to.
that's why we do this show, because we have no real destination
Yeah.
other than Christina's Vortex car, in the closet where she goes to London and
Yeah.
New Orleans all in one day.
All in one day. Yeah. That
That
was
type of
crazy.
that type of journey is what I would value, because then I know
Yeah.
like what's predictable. That's probably why I'm so attracted to using the unknown deck all the time, because really, like, it reminds me, you're not in control of this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Nobody is.
hmm
And, you know, but if I feel sadness, I distract myself with something. If
mm.
I feel uncomfortable, I distract myself with something.
Oh,
And so
I
there's
sit
always
right in it.
right. Well, and that's the thing is I've
Yeah.
never done that. And
Yeah.
so
Well, you've been rushed your whole life, I feel. You're always in a rush. And I have to stop myself from doing that with my own kids sometimes. I'm like, what the heck are we rushing for? Who cares? We can be
Yeah.
late, we can be early, we can be yesterday or tomorrow. It don't matter. As long as we're happy, we're here, we're together. That's what matters.
Yeah.
That's
It
great.
reminds me of something my cousin's husband said years ago, actually now, um, when I let them know I was going to be in the area and could I stop by and say hi and whatever. And of course, yes. And then the kids who were teenagers at the time said, well, when is Aunt Chris going to get here? And their dad said, well, it's Aunt Chris. Could be 2 or Tuesday. We don't
She
know.
runs on Indian time. Leave her alone.
That's right.
It depends on what portal
Yeah.
she comes out of.
That's
Yeah.
right. You get it. You
Come
get
flying
it.
into the living room.
Yay.
I'm here.
Right. Depends on if we're in New Orleans or the UK. You don't
Or,
know.
who even knows? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Maybe you're in some other dimension in another planet.
I usually am. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sounds
usually
fine.
am. At least
Yeah.
once a
and it's
day.
funny because like that's where my face is, like, I'm here with you guys, but sometimes I'm like, okay, there's that area that needs to be addressed. Let me write that down. Okay, there's
Uh-huh.
that area that needs to be addressed. We
Address.
got to write that down.
Yeah.
Because I want to get all my ducks in a row, but realistically, I'm not
Ducks
in
don't
control of
stay
any
in
of it.
rows.
No, I was gonna
Right.
say ducks run around. I don't know what kind of ducks you have, but mine are all over. If I can
Yeah.
catch one, I'm lucky. Then
I
Well,
I'm
and
the
then you
love
got that
lucky
one
that.
one.
hanging on the ledge going, ah,
Oh boy, that one more than often, too often.
Right.
right.
Mhm.
Wait
Well,
for
ladies, we
me.
only have a couple of minutes left. So, Bobby, you were going to ask Casey to pull a few cards for you?
Do you want to do that today? Why don't you pick a deck that you think would resonate and just do a quick 3 or 4
Well, I
card?
always use my unknown most of the times. Courtney, you got your deck next to you too. Why don't you flop some out?
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I don't flop them. Spirit does. Just kidding.
Yeah, Spirit does.
I'll do a shuffle too, and then go for it, Courtney.
Well, I was gonna say too, Bobby, my first deck was gifted to me and it was the Rider Waite deck. And then Casey was nice enough to go and buy me the book because I'm a book person.
Yes.
I like to read. I like to know for sure. Before I knew I know, I liked to know from a book.
Very good.
I always
I
felt
know
pressured to memorize. Sorry, go ahead, Casey.
a lot
Right.
of people, some people I've watched and experienced, they like to hand pick out, you know.
I've never been that.
Um, some people say when they're shuffling them, like I like to shuffle them and let them fly out. Some people say that's disrespectful to the cards.
I don't think so.
Um,
I do that
I
too.
don't think
Besides,
so.
I
some of them
I
are going to
don't
jump too. So,
right,
Yes.
and I don't feel that way. I let them shuffle and fly because, like I said, this deck that I have is seasoned because, like,
Because the kids take them out and dump stuff on
no,
them. I'm
no,
just kidding.
no, but the shuffling and the handling, they get
mhm.
more and more
Mine's getting there.
seasoned.
Yeah.
It's like you read a book 15 times, the binding is going to get a little worn out. So,
Yeah.
but the cards that flopped out for you, I got, of course, the death card. You're going through
Oh,
a transformation right now. With this transformation, what comes out is don't doubt yourself, the fool. Don't doubt yourself. You're not, it's almost like you're scared to step out on the ice because the ice might crack. And so don't doubt that. The ice is pretty thick. You've got some grounding. With the support of the universe through this transformation that you're going to be going through. And then Emperor, you're going to come standing out tall. Through this process, you're going to keep your head held high. You're not going to allow yourself to be uncertain about stepping out on the ice.
You're not going to bury her
Because
head.
what's that?
She's not going to bury her head. She's going to like
Right.
face it.
So like an ostrich,
Yes, that's
like
what made me think of.
you're not going to do that. You can, and it's funny, I have goosebumps right now. You can see the transformation coming.
Oh yeah.
You can already see it. You're like, all right, I've been here. I don't know if I should step out on the ice. And what the hell? Head held high, steps out on the ice. And you're gonna be able to get through that. And so that's what I have for you. I hope that resonates. Courtney, what you got?
I got a bunch of good ones. I had four come out for you. So the first one, this is like a beautiful one. This is like almost even a symbol of like the equinox right now, or Ostara, whatever you like to call it. I'm gaining the Ostara because I just like how it is, but
Yeah.
it's like the rebirth. This one's called soul retrieval. So almost
Mm.
like finding yourself again, and you know what path you're supposed to take. You just have to remember what path that was that you're supposed to take. So you're like a renewal of your soul almost to me is what that is. And then I also got the ghost dance, which is to me this card represents your ancestors, the people that have come before you, the ones that you have to love, remember, and then also um take almost like taking their advice. Even maybe if you haven't heard from them or listened to them before. I have a grandmother who I feel guides me, and I've never met her. I only know her first and last name. But I feel like definitely somewhere along the line she's still guiding me through my transformation into what I am becoming.
Mm.
And then I always pay attention to the numbers, and I will go to the numbers after that. I got the corn. So the corn represents like, oh, you always have enough. You're growing enough. You have enough to feed the whole village. You always have enough food. Don't worry. Pretty much like, don't worry if you're not enough, or if you ever don't feel like you are enough. You are enough. We're all enough. Everybody's enough. We don't have to have any symbolization of that or anything like that. The corn grows, and sometimes even the corn grows better with less rain. I've
Oh,
had that happen to me in my own garden where it's growing without even the rain coming, and it ended up being really good corn. So you have enough to feed everybody, you have enough to share with everyone. And the vision quest. I haven't got this card often, but maybe
mm.
representing the opening, like her last card that she pulled, I felt when she read that card is like opening the new door onto what we know we are supposed to be. So you're opening the
You
new
see
door.
it coming though. You see it
Yes.
already.
Yes. And even I was gonna say I've seen your transformation watching the show. I've seen how you went from kind of closed off and not ready and willing, and look at how open she is right now. Like
Yeah.
she's
Mm.
open to whatever is coming at her, open to receive it. And if not, she's also shining that light outward.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
Okay, because what's coming to me with the Vision Quest is that it's about you and your creator and not gathering information from other sources. It's just
Right.
about you and your creator and no other sources involved. So it's really about sitting with yourself and being connected to your higher source, your higher self, whatever you want to call that, God, goddess, whatever. It's about you and that's it. Not
Creating your
That's
own
where
bringing
the
vision.
in, not going outside for answers, but going inside and connecting to your higher source.
that's
Because
what the
literally,
emperor.
that's what you do on a vision quest.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of a vision quest.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
you
Oh,
sit on the mound and you allow you and yourself. That's where for
mm-hmm.
me, the emperor is representing. you didn't grab somebody else's hand to get to where you are. You're going to stand tall with what you've created within yourself. Like Christina's saying, the higher being, the
Hmm.
divine, the universe. You're going to say,
Oneness.
I don't
Yeah.
need an army. I only need one entity.
Yeah.
She's got
Yeah.
a beautiful heart on her chest, almost in the shape like a bird, almost with
Yeah.
fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It is really, I've done 3 vision quests. Um, and it's always about just being you, and that's it. Like you
Follow
and
it.
your, you know, um, for me, it was 4 days sitting in the forest by myself.
Okay, I remember you talking about that.
Okay.
Okay, that
So,
makes
but that's like, there's no outside influence at all. It is you and your creator, and that's it. So that's, yeah, it's about
top of
trusting
the deck.
yourself and your,
Top of the deck was the moon, so that makes a lot of sense
yeah,
right now with this
yeah.
craziness.
mm.
So,
Bottom was the mystical shaman. That was the first card I ever pulled.
Ooh.
I
ooh,
ever pulled from this deck was the mystical shaman.
Hmm.
this has been amazing. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was so, uh, I'm just tickled and thrilled that you guys are here and that you've shared your gifts with us and with me, and you are spot on with everything. I am going through a transformation, and I have, by the way, you, like Courtney said, I've come from being very closed off, and through all of the stuff that I've been through in the last few months, I've let go of a lot of things and I've changed. And I am starting to stand taller and just say, it is what it is. Because my whole life, I've been, and you've heard the stories, on the show and stuff that um, I grew up pretty sheltered and not able to make my own decisions and being led by the hand and told what to do. And now it's me, and I'm choosing to do what I'm doing because it's the right thing for me. And I can't allow other people to make decisions for me. And regardless of what you think of me, it is what it is. And I'm still the one that has to live in here.
Yep.
And I'm
Hmm.
the one that has to wake up every morning and look at myself in the mirror and be pleased with that. And so making sure that I think that I'm enough, it doesn't matter what other people think, just knowing that I am enough. And I don't really need anybody, but it's really cool to have y'all around me and just
Hmm.
be part
Sure.
of the tribe and all of that. And I think, Christina, I think we should take a trip to that train, wherever that is.
I
And
was
I
Let's
just
think that
do
would
saying
be
that.
we're
just a
supposed to go up there soon, and I was like, maybe if we all sneak up and oh, hey, Christina, how did you get here?
We don't have to sneak. I'll just call my friend and say, "Hey, I'm
Well,
bringing
I do. You're
people."
gonna have to put out a missing person for me so I can just get the heck out of here.
and I
Ladies,
would be
this is
happy to
amazing. Yeah.
I would be happy to share the cheesecake. I'll bring the cake.
Oh, I
Awesome.
make a mean cheesecake too. This could be a competition.
Ooh,
Ooh,
well,
Nothing's a
awesome.
competition. I'm just
I
kidding.
just like to eat it, so I'll be your guinea.
oh, that's cool.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, me
This
Thank
was
you
too.
so
so
fun.
much. This
Yeah.
was phenomenal. And I am thrilled to see the relationship between the two of you. And, that hits in my heart because you know that my sister is sick and my other sister who passed away, I was as close, if not closer, than the two of you are. And
Mm,
so give each other a hug every day, kiss each
mm.
other, be there for each other. And it's just phenomenal to see that. And I see how close you are. So kudos to you guys. And
Yeah.
thank you
Love.
both for coming today and
Yeah.
giving yourself to us and allowing us to pick your brain and just to have a nice little chat. So
It was beautiful.
thanks
I
again.
enjoyed it just as
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
And we
Thank
got
you.
the elusive Courtney, who
Yeah,
is always in the
Right.
chat rooms.
Exactly.
But now y'all get to see her beautiful face.
Right.
it's what
So,
I do best.
and
Shining
Casey
like,
too.
yep,
Yeah.
shining like
Thank
the
you
little
both.
stars.
Yes.
No,
Thank you
thank you
both
guys.
so much for being here. And I'll give you some details when we get off of here. But I want to thank you all. Remember to follow by hitting the subscribe button, hit the notification button.
Thumbs up.
I mean, Courtney doesn't know it because she's everybody's cheerleader, but she has her own fan base. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm here.
either hate it or love it. I don't care.
That's what we say too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Like it or don't. It's all up to
That's right.
you. So
Yep.
thank you all, everyone, and we will see you next time on Breakfast with Bobby.
Have a
Bye.
good